Normally I don't start off videos with an install, but I was way too stoked to get this bash bar on and see how it looked. I got it powder coated the same color as the wheels, and it looks absolutely phenomenal. It did, however, though, make very apparent how messed up the supports for my factory crash bar are. This one's so smushed in that I had to beat the crap out of it to get the bash bar to work. And if you look, it's way closer here than it is over on the other one. So I'm gonna have to get a replacement for that piece to make the bash bar fit perfectly, but it looks so good. That's really rude. That's rude.
Is that what you wanted from me?
No, I just wanted to show you the new bash bar. Do you like it?
I love it. It's very beautiful.
Thanks. I'm happy with it. It's a really hard color to match. Like, the wheels are almost like an anodized finish. So for a powder coater to get that looking like it does, looks pretty sweet. I'll probably end up doing what Matt the Ginge has, where he has like a half bumper cut. But for now, actually the bumper should just fit right over this, and I'm just gonna do that. But pretty damn close. Look at that, with a bumper on, you can't even tell unless you look through this little window right here. Doing a little bit of preventative maintenance on the OLSR. This is the first time I've had a magnetic drain plug in this engine. I'm curious to see how it looks. I feel like it used to get a crazy amount of metal shavings on it. Now it's like nothing. That's insane. That's awesome. If you haven't noticed, I've been changing my oil much more often than I was in the past, just because E85 does break down the oil a lot faster and it gets very thin and gross. So look at that. Don't get everything dirty now. Nice and simple. So nice. It's a nice car. Before I get back to work on the 350Z, while I have my 240 in the garage, I'm gonna do a little bit of cleaning up in the interior. I don't know if you remember me changing the door cards, but I actually do have a matching glove box. This one's looking pretty beat up in comparison, so I figured I might as well switch them out real quick. Unfortunately, to make it fit with a cage, I actually have to cut this pretty glove box, but I'll probably put a little piece of tape there, try to make it look clean, but still keep it from all the dirt and debris getting inside. Now, conveniently, I had two things that I had powder coated the same color as the wheels. Oh, I forgot to mention, in case any of you guys are interested in that front bash bar, it's the same one that Matt the Ginge has. I'll put his Instagram name right here. I believe you say it's something like Heliarch Hustler. I think they're like 400 bucks shipped or something, and they're really rad. Just a small independent dude that makes dope stuff, so I always like to support people like that. So this right here is a graffiti harness bar for the 350Z. Now, funny story, I was hitting up the company to see if they could send me a raw one so I could get it powder coated. Lo and behold, I find out the owner of the company is actually Bub, who's the chief engineer responsible for my S15 at Shinjuku that they're building. So getting it raw was no problem. He hooked it up and I was able to drop it off and get it powder coated, just the same color as the wheels. This one's actually really nice. It's a lot sturdier than some of the other ones on the market that just bolt in two places. It has 4 mounting points and looks really cool. I'll show you. Kind of tricky to get it in, but I don't know. I'm so thankful to have an air-conditioned garage. It makes this so much nicer. Please don't make me take my seat out. Let's see if I can finagle it behind it. Come on, you can do it. I think we're in there. Just gotta take the seat belts off. I didn't even have to get out of the car. I don't know where it like bolts behind the seatbelt or whatever though. I'm kind of confused about that. Should probably cut up the trim and put it in that way, huh? I'm gonna look at some pictures online. So it appears as if to account for the thickness of this, we can actually bolt it right on outside the trim, which is pretty rad. But we're gonna have to remove this little helper arm thing. So there's just like a little clip here, so we'll just pry it off, and then that should give us the clearance that we need to just bolt it right up. Literally the only hardware you need, it comes with, just 2 bolts. Looks so good. A couple of these bolts are kind of hard to get in. I kind of have to like put the bolt in, kind of like pull it over to get it to line up right and go right in, but very simple. It did say in the instructions to remove the little seatbelt arms, but what I did is I just removed all the internals that lets it lock into different places, so it's very, very thin. It doesn't really take up any extra threads, but I can still have it that way. I didn't want the seatbelt to be just dangling, because then it'd be like clack, clack, clack. It'd be if it didn't have the little extension arm. So I did that. Another added benefit of the harness bar, I don't know necessarily about Z's, but I know when I put one in my S13, like you could literally feel the stiffness of the chassis just from bracing it. And considering this one has 4 points, I would say that there's gonna be some sort of difference. I know the Z is pretty stiff already, but probably notice something. Now's the fun part where we get to roll the fenders. Just to show you guys where we're at right now, this is where we're starting. I'm hoping to roll the fenders enough to get them at least halfway out more than they are now. Realistically, I'll probably do some over fenders in the future, but I'd rather wait until these are like completely demolished before I put different fenders on. So let's get it done. It's gonna be fun rolling fenders with like no remorse. Like I don't care what happens to the car. I know you guys are giving me crap thinking that this isn't gonna be a missile car, but it's just like while I'm doing stuff, if it only takes a little bit of extra time to do it a little bit nicer, I like to take pride in the things that I do. If I have time, I don't wanna just put half the effort into it. There's no reason I can't have this car look somewhat nice in the beginning and have the interior really nice, because it's not like people are gonna be bashing the inside of my door, you know? Here's the sad part of the story where I can't roll my fenders because I don't have a fender roller. Or do I? Anyway, I do have a fender roller and I haven't used it probably since I rolled the fenders of my 240, what, like 2 years ago? I think I lended it to someone because I remember it being up in my attic and I remember taking it down, and sure enough, it's not in my attic anymore, so I don't have a fender roller. Either whoever I lended it to still has it, or by chance, maybe it's at the warehouse, so I'm gonna go drive over there, cross my fingers. It was Schulman. I guess Schulman borrowed it and he brought it back to the warehouse. Well, I don't think I ever showed you guys, but I actually put works on the back of my car. I mainly got them just because the Cosmos wheels that I usually have are only 9s, so I ended up getting the works because they're 9.5s and they're like plus 38, so they're super sunk in, and it let me fit, get ready for it, a 235 instead of a 225 like I was running before, just to get a little bit more grip. Hopefully my SR tranny will tolerate it. Lo and behold, inside of Alberto's Abyss, we find a wild fender roller. This guy will just bolt right onto the hub. Now the biggest issue people normally have with rolling fenders is cracking the paint. Paint's already pretty much toast, so I don't care. But we are gonna heat it up with a heat gun first to hopefully avoid any cracking. Start creating pressure as we roll with the warm fender. Got a bunch of weird little nubby things from where the fender liner mounted. That's okay. We'll just roll right over them, smush them right in. This is gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to just like aggressively rolling the crap out of these and not caring. Got a little bit of paint cracking in the front, but again, we don't really care. What I give you is called the YOLO fender. I'd say that's a solid inch of pull I got there. I will note, when you're pulling fenders this much, you pretty much just gotta accept that you're gonna ruin your paint. I didn't really care, because remember, this is a missile car. I don't care. But yeah, I'll probably sand this down and get some touch-up paint and try to make it look a little bit nicer, just for the meantime, until I get some sort of over fender set up. But like this, actually, other than, see this little like bacon weave setup we got going right here, that's just because I was too lazy to change around the fender roller, and I was just putting weird pressure on it. I could have got it way nicer, kind of like this area, if you want to even call it nice, but look at that. Like that's pretty solid. That's what it looks like now. Ignore the bacon. That's what it looked like in the beginning. And guys, yes, in theory, I could have just left them, but what would have happened is while I'm drifting or just turning around and stuff, the wheels would end up just like ripping apart the fender in weird spots, and it would look much worse than it does now. At least now it looks like there's some sort of shape, where otherwise it would have just kind of looked like janky and broken, like all the JZX100s do at Ebisu. The other side came out much better in the sense that there is no paint chips. I honestly don't know why this side didn't chip. I think the other side was just already messed up or something. But I still got a lot of this weird little bacon weave stuff going on. I don't really think that the amount that I'm pulling these fenders is acceptable. And on top of that, I realized that I forgot you're supposed to like take a brush and clean out in there before you fold the fender in. If there's any sort of debris or anything in there, it's gonna get like crimped in there and make weird marks and stuff. So, I mean, for a drift car, it doesn't look too bad, but like when I end up doing over fenders, this whole part's gonna get cut out anyway. So for now, it'll be drivable and look a little bit better and be less annoying than me grabbing and grinding my front fenders all the time. I'm sorry if you're mad at me for ruining the fenders, but like one was already toast, the other one already had a bunch of broken stuff. Just remember, this is a salvage car, the front end's all like crashed up and stuff, the frame rails are straight. But anyway, this car became a drift car. I'm very much so overworking on Z's, but the excitement of getting to take this car out with all this rad stuff is really driving me to work harder. I got the rear arms, coilovers when they come in, passenger seat, oil cooler, power steering cooler, tune, and then she's done. So that's like maybe 3 videos. I think we're gonna take a break from working on her for a little while though, because I can't really do the rest of the stuff that I want to do until I get the coilovers. It's late though, so I'm gonna call it a night and I will see you guys tomorrow. When you say